Alright, so if you've played Warframe before, you've definitely needed Tellurium to build something at some point. You look it up and see that it's a rare resource like argon crystals. I mean, it's just some material, surely it can't be that hard to farm. But then every single one of us goes through the exact same thing. Despair. Look, I needed fucking 10 fucking Tellurium to build fucking pants for my fucking bum ass operator. And let me tell you, I was going into it thinking I would spend at least 2 hours farming that shit. But guess what? It took me about 20 minutes and I got 12 Tellurium from that mission. Yes, you heard that right. I'm not tickling your balls.
What?
I actually cracked the code for farming Tellurium, and in this video, I'm gonna share my findings. Alright, so first of all, when you try to farm Tellurium, you have a couple of options for farming locations. Out of the 3 of these, I personally only have one option, which is Ophelia, because fuck Archwing and fuck Railjack, I'm trying to be a Warframe. And to be completely honest, Ophelia is the best option because the sheer amount of enemies you will kill is far greater than either of the other 2 mission types. So if you didn't know, Tellurium is an enemy drop and an extremely rare one at that. It isn't officially stated, but by using a statistical approach as done by the person on the screen now, we can get the number of around 0.2% drop chance per enemy killed. We can support this by making the assumption that the Railjack rates also apply to the normal missions, and we would arrive at around 0.18% drop chance, which is not very far off, only a 0.1 deviation. So clearly it's extremely rare and you'd have to kill hundreds of enemies just to get 1 Tellurium. But there are some things that we can do to get this drop chance way up. We will look at a couple of strategies for doing so in this video, but before we continue, I gotta say this. We are almost at 100 subscribers. Help me reach that goal by subscribing. Did you subscribe yet? Yeah, it's just that button right there. Oh, almost. There you go. Thanks, I appreciate it. Anyway, let's firstly talk about things you can do in general to increase the drop rates. So of course, and this is pretty obvious, resource boosters are going to be amazing for farming Tellurium, but you already knew that. The same way you know that Necros's third ability, Desecrate, is also really good for farming, but that's not why you're watching this video. You've probably already tried these things. You're here to learn how I managed to score more than 10 Tellurium in a matter of 20 minutes. It seems statistically impossible, but it's true. So inside the Ophelia survival mission, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to a specific room. And this is what the room looks like. You may be thinking, what is so special about this room? Well, let me tell you, my children. This room is leagues above all the other rooms in this tileset, and the reason why has to do with Warframe's enemy spawning mechanics. So, unlike many other games like Minecraft, for example, which spawns enemies in a radial AoE depending on a certain range from the player, Warframe actually has set locations which spawn groups of enemies as long as that location is within some range to the player. So in survival missions, sometimes you'll notice that you're getting a lot of enemies, whereas when you move to another location, you're getting only like a couple, right? And that's all because of the player's position in relation to the set spawn locations for enemies. So in this room, if we stand in this exact position, we actually have access to about 7 nearby spawn locations, and I counted them myself, so I may have missed 1 or 2, but there's at least 7. This is already way higher than any of the other rooms in this tileset. The Grineer Sea Lab tileset is one which is not very open, like for example the Orokin Void tilesets, and in no other room and location do you activate as many spawn locations as you do from right here. But there's even more to this spot. The bulk of the enemies will be coming at you from behind these 3 doors. Behind these doors are hallways in which enemies can spawn. Since there's a door here, enemies which spawn behind it will have to run all the way to the door for it to open. This means that they'll all be grouped up really close to you and you don't even have to touch your keyboard. Another cool thing about these doors is that you have an inbuilt defense system. You literally can't take damage from the enemies behind these doors because they can't shoot you from far away. Now, there are some extra things which you should do for this spot to be as amazing as it was for me. First of all, you absolutely need to have multiple people in your squad, and this is mainly for enemy spawn rate. Since Tellurium is such a rare spawn, you need to kill a lot of enemies. And this is a must, and you need to take charge and explain to them that they need to stay in this room. I mean, they don't have to stay in this exact position, but they need to be in this vicinity to actually spawn all the enemies around you. So when you have 3 to 4 players holding this room, the enemy spawning goes absolutely crazy. One thing I didn't mention is that some of these enemy spawn locations are on the far side, and the game will actually teleport them closer to you to expedite their attack. With Warframe, enemies never actually despawn, so if you go out of range from them, the game will just teleport them closer to you. Also, it's definitely a good idea to do this in Steel Path, as the enemy spawn rate is way higher than base Star Chart, and in synergy with everything else I just told you, the spawn rate is absolutely insane. Now, part of the reason why this farm is so good is that boosters will come to you naturally. What do I mean by that? Well, since Tellurium is such a rare resource and people know how dreadful it can be to farm, a lot of people that queue into this mission already have resource chance boosters equipped. This means that you have access to all of their gains just by being in the same party. Remember to kill as many enemies as quickly as you can so that the game can spawn more enemies, as there is a cap that you want to avoid hitting. So now I'm going to show you what this farm looks like in game. So I'm in a public queue in the NA region because I live in OCE, but the OCE servers are way quieter. Also, I have no boosters, only this one friend I made from the last mission. Anyway, so the first thing you want to do is find the spot as soon as possible, as that way you won't have spawned a bunch of enemies elsewhere. Once we find the spot, we will have to wait a little bit for the enemies to spawn more, but once they do, it's just a matter of killing them. A good loop to do is to alternate between the 3 hallways and actually go inside after killing a group to spawn enemies in the locations that are a little far away and then come right back. This way you won't miss any Tellurium drops either. Don't forget that enemies will spawn behind you below this balcony, though they won't be able to damage you much. You should still exterminate these guys regularly to make space for more enemy spawns. Remember that cap I was talking about. Now in this mission, the guy I brought with me from my last mission didn't have a booster, and neither did I. However, this random that joined in later most likely did, as the drop rate was far higher when he was present rather than when he wasn't. Just look at the impact that a single booster makes, and if you have multiple allies with boosters, it's just not even funny. In this run, we didn't have a Necros, but his ability Desecrate basically re-rolls the drop table for every enemy, essentially giving us 2 chances to get the resource we want per kill, doubling our chance to get it. Though it's only a 54% chance that he rerolls at all. And one last thing is that Desecrate takes Steel Path into account, so that double drop chance is factored into the drop tables. So in the end, we finished with 6 Tellurium, but it only took us about 10 minutes to get it. Here's a screenshot as proof, and if our friend with the booster stayed a little longer, we would have definitely recreated the 12 Tellurium in 20 minutes I got before. With all of the other strategies I've mentioned, you can only imagine how efficient this farm can be. And also, if you're thinking the 6 is only because I had a resource booster, which doubles it, and I actually only got 3, and this farm is actually not good, and I should just fuck myself, well, listen. Resource boosters are possessor exclusive, so even if our buddy had one, it wouldn't affect my pickups. And also, I had no boosters at all. So this is quite literally just 6 individual Telluriums, with the only buff being a probable resource drop chance booster from Titanfall. So that was the Tellurium farm, everyone, and you should now never feel dread when thinking about Tellurium. If you enjoyed this video or if it was helpful to you, please make sure to like and also subscribe. We're almost at 100 subscribers, and I sound like a broken record saying it so much, but let's do it, guys. Anyways, this has been Flashes. See ya. This is already way higher than most of the other rooms in this tile set. This is already way higher than any of the other rooms in this tile set, and the Grenier Silo... This is already way higher than any of the other rooms in this tile set. Oh my god, fuck me.